Hey, what's up everyone? Nick here. Welcome back to the Dead Space Impossible difficulty. One gun, no damage walkthrough. We're moving on to Chapter 10. I would argue that Chapter 10 is probably the hardest in the game. It's just one of those levels that, you know, I've mentioned this a couple times, but no matter how well prepared you are, there's going to be stuff that it's just an inherently hard level. No matter how prepared you are, there are just sections that are inherently difficult, and they're going to take a couple tries. They took me a couple tries. Excuse me. Took a little bit of frustration, but you know, with the right strategy, you should be fine, and that's what I'm hoping to do here. I am recording this video late at night, kind of tired. I'm recording this commentary pretty much right after the commentary of Chapter 10, or I'm sorry, Chapter 9, and luckily, I still have my 16-ounce Red Bull that I'm putting away, so that's keeping me up. And I took a little break in my commentary, and I'm just kind of, you know, I got the house to myself tonight. I'm kind of hanging around, doing some busy work, and I spent about 30 or 40 minutes drawing up more tattoo designs that I plan on getting on various parts of my body. And then I realized I should probably stop, because at this point I think I have like 10 drawings on my computer, and I don't yet even know where I'm gonna put them all. Man, sorry, I don't know why I started coughing at the start of this recording, but yeah, I got like 10 designs, and I don't even know where I plan on putting them. I have ideas, but you know, those change. Like, the designs haven't changed. It's just where I plan on putting them. I feel like certain ones one day would look better on my leg. Other days I think they'd look better on my arms. Yeah, all my tattoos, all my designs are pretty small. Like, pretty small, easy geometric designs. For the most part. Some of them aren't. But yeah, those will be coming. And the other thing is, too, like, you know, I'm fortunate enough in this life to have a good job, you know, a job that pays me well, and so getting tattoos is not, it's not something that is financially difficult for me, but but I can't get 10 at one time. I definitely have to space them out paycheck by paycheck, and so I'm like, well, why am I sitting here designing all these things when I can't get them all right now anyway? So I was like, all right, let's stop and get back to the commentary. I will ask you guys a question though. In the last video that I made previewing this series, you guys were able to see some of my tattoos, one on my left arm and one on my right arm, and someone actually left a comment saying they'd like to see a video of me explaining my tattoos. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. It seems like a cool idea for a video, so let me know. Anyway, watch what I do here. This part can get pretty stressful. We're going to ride down the elevator. You're going to be attacked by 2 slender men. Go ahead and freeze both of them. Now, you really do not have a lot of time to stall here. You're going to run towards this back corner. You're going to look in this chest here, grab the item. That's the objective. And then you are going to haul ass back to the elevator. If you have fully upgraded your stasis module, and if you're running the entire time, you should have just enough time to make it back to the elevator right when the enemies get unfrozen, and you never have to come back to this room, you never have to go downstairs, so you never have to worry about those enemies again. So that's just, you know, like I was saying, this is a pretty difficult level, so any chance you can make it easier on yourself, I say let's do that. And so that's what I dang done did. Alright, so anyway, let's keep on keeping on. Still gonna get more difficult. Alright, I'm gonna come in this room here, and we're gonna have a pod spitter that already has shot probably 3 or 4 pods at you. So dispose of the pods, start shooting the tentacles, but get ready. Do not get too close, because there is going to be an advanced form necromorph that spawns from the ceiling. And really the only thing that's tough here is in the time it takes you to destroy the necromorph, the pod spitter has probably shot out 2 or 3 more pods. So you really got to be observant here. You really got to, you really got to kind of have that peripheral vision. And it's okay to focus on the necromorph. That should be your immediate threat. But don't ignore the pod spitter, because those pods will add up and they'll start shooting those projectiles at you, and everything kind of just... If you get overwhelmed, everything's going to pile on pretty quickly. So another strategy, too, if you really need to, you can even freeze the necromorph and then, try to kill the pod spitter while it's frozen. I don't recommend that, because then when the necromorph becomes unfrozen, you might be too kind of entrenched in fighting the pod spitter and it'll get you. I just think it's easier to kill the necromorph first, but ultimately that decision will fall on you. Alright, so I'm gonna exit this elevator here. Go man, I got something stuck in my throat, I think. Go through the door, and nothing to worry about in here. But yeah, like I was saying, this is something, this is a trick. That necromorph looks like it's going to attack you, but it's actually dead. It's one of the few cases in this game where it's actually dead. Yeah, but as I talked about with the channel, I'd like to start doing just other types of non-gaming videos. So I think doing a tattoo video would be cool. My tattoos are all very personal to me. Each one has a very, motivated story, and I often, don't feel comfortable sharing it with everyone, but I do feel comfortable sharing it on the channel. So let me know if that's something you'd be interested in, and I'll think about it. The other thing is, I recently ran a 10K, my first 10K, with only 3 weeks of training, and I'm very proud of the way that went. That's another video that's currently in production. Anyway, when you come through this door here, there's going to be another one of these ungodly tentacle scenes, and you're just, same thing. You're gonna have to shoot the yellow, pod as it drags you along. Again, no real strategy there. You just got to do it. Those are just terrible, terrible sections in any game. Like I was saying, Dead Space is not the only game to employ a fight like that. Evil Within 2 is one of them. I'm sure there are plenty others that I just don't know. Alright, so hop in this room here, trigger the objective, and then you're good to head out. Do be careful. There's going to be a advanced form necromorph here. Now, this is the only enemy in this room. You could technically freeze him and just run for it if you wanted to, but I didn't want to take the risk of him spawning somewhere else, like in another room. So I just said, yeah, screw it. Let's kill him. Be done with it. And now you can make your way back out into this central room. You're going to hook a right, go down this hallway here, and we're going to come to this, we're going to come to kind of this cryo room, or this whatever you want to call it, this frozen tundra of a room. There's going to be 3 enemies in here. At first, you only have to worry about 2 of them. There's going to be a necromorph and then a bloated. Again, standard strategy, just be very careful when you're killing the bloated. Make sure you don't shoot its stomach. And then there's going to be an advanced form necromorph at the other end of the room, but this is one that you don't have to worry about right away, because when you enter the room, it will be playing dead. So just, save that one for last. You'll notice, too, that this room is devoid of oxygen, but it is, I promise you, it is not a problem. There are oxygen refill stations, and if you follow this strategy, we are not going to be in here very long, and you can basically refill the oxygen after every encounter. So notice how, I killed the first 3 enemies, and now I'm just running around scavenging, and now before I go along with my objective, I'll come over here and refill my oxygen, and then we're good to go. So I'm just going to pop in this room here. An advanced form baby is going to spawn from the ceiling. I'm going to kill that. No problem. Now, just to be safe, before going further into the room, I'll refill my oxygen. Round this corner, and there's going to be two enemies. There's going to be a bloated, and there's going to be another advanced form baby. So let's go ahead and take them out. You can do it in whatever order you want. Notice how I'm kind of backing up because the bloated is already missing its legs, so it has to crawl all the way to me. You don't even have to kill him. So I'm going to freeze him. I'm going to come over here, grab the objective, and immediately run out of the room. But be careful because one of the speeding necromorphs is going to spawn from the ceiling, so I'll freeze him too. And then just straight up leave. That's all I'm going to do. Freeze them both, run, get in this door, and we're done. There you go. Plenty of oxygen. Wasted almost no ammo. I think that's a pretty good strategy. So I'll let you be the judge of that. Also, too, let me point out on this talk of like a tattoo video and a running video and stuff, I'm always open to ideas, you know. So if you guys have any type of idea that you think would be cool, like some type of video that shows you more about my personal life, let me know. Let me know in the comments. I can't promise that I'll make it because I do, you know, value certain aspects of my privacy. But you know, certain things I'm happy to share. So if there's ever a video you can think of that sounds interesting, let me know and I'll think about it. Alright, so now we're back to this room here where we fought the pod spitter. We're gonna go into this large kind of hallway, and couple things you got to worry about here. There's going to be a couple exploding enemies, and then there are also going to be a couple of those body parts that are squirming around. Now, if you wanted to, you could try to wait for the body parts to get close enough to one of the exploding enemies, and then, you know, shoot the exploding enemy and hope the explosion kills everything. I don't know. I didn't really feel like bothering with that. At this point in the game, if you've been following along or if you've been watching me, I have enough credits and I have enough ammo to where I'm not really worried anymore. So, you know, you remember back in chapters 1 and 2 how I was trying really hard to conserve as much ammo as possible. It's not really an issue anymore. I feel comfortable using as much ammo as I want. It's not really going to be of consequence. Now, notice how I avoided going to the store in this room? That's on purpose, alright? So when you come into this room here, there's going to be an advanced form necromorph. Sometimes he'll see you right away. Sometimes he'll be kind of walking around. It's kind of funny. And you can kind of get the jump on him like you saw me do right there. But the important thing to note is the reason I didn't visit the store in the previous room is because when you do that, while you're in the store, a transformer and an advanced form necromorph will spawn, and by the time it takes you to get out of the store, you're already going to be a bit in over your head. And so if you actually just avoid going to the store and wait until you come back to that room, the enemies will spawn and you can actually get the jump on them, and it is much, 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 much easier. So please don't visit the store yet. Okay? Alright, so we're going to come to this room here. This is a cool little, like, mini-game type room. It's the 0G basketball room. I'm not going to dick around with it. I'm just going to come in, grab what I need, and leave. So that's your objective right there. Because, again, this isn't a Let's Play. I'm not really, you know, I'm not here to be entertaining. I'm here to just do a cool playthrough. So I'm not going to do the basketball. When you go through this door, there is going to be an advanced form that spawns pretty much right in front of you. So be careful. Just don't go, you know, just don't go running into the room. Alright. So I got my objective. Basically what that does is it opens this door right here. So let's go ahead and venture inside. Alright, so we're coming to probably the second hardest part of this level. I don't really even know how to describe it, except for we're going to be facing another one of those regenerators. And, you know, our task is going to be to run away from him. But there are going to be several other enemies that we have to deal with, and this room is not the best room for fighting, so you just got to kind of grit your teeth and take it. I'll do my best to show you a decent strategy, but just know that this is one of those rooms that, even if you're prepared for it, like I said, it's inherently difficult, so it might take you a couple tries. Man, my throat's bothering me.
Do not abandon your faith. What's happening on the colony is not a tragedy. It's God. This truth is even more fantastic. On the planet below us.
Alright, so I'm going to come in here. As of yet, you have nothing to worry about. So I'm going to move these containers out of the way. I don't know what's happening here. I'm kind of messing up. But essentially what's going to happen is we're going to venture further into the room to get our objective. And then we're going to kind of get ambushed and we're going to have to run for it. But shouldn't be too bad. Excuse me. Okay. So here we go. Come into the room. Pick up some ammo. This lady's just laughing over here. And she shoots herself. That's sad. Alright. So get ready. Gonna come into this corner, get what I need, and then immediately make a run for it. Alright? So I'm gonna run back. There's probably gonna be an enemy that drops from the ceiling right here, so get ready for that. Shoot him. Shoot him pretty quickly, because there is a regenerator coming behind you. So notice how I didn't even kill him. And the regenerator, sure enough, was right there. So notice how at first I didn't even kill the necromorph. I just shot the arms off, or I just shot the legs off. And now the regenerator is kind of stuck on the other side. So what you want to do here is start moving all of these crates, and the regenerator is just gonna go back into the ceiling and then spawn on the other side, so it's not like you're done with him or anything. So I'm just gonna kind of creep out here, get him to spawn. Okay, there he goes. He doesn't quite know what to do because I'm hidden behind the containers. But I'm going to shoot the legs, and then I'm going to freeze him. I'm going to go through this door. And there's going to be some enemies in here. And of course, the one door that we need to go through, Kendra's saying, hey, there's an override lock. I need to get through it. So this ends up becoming one of those classic, just you got to survive until the door opens scenarios. And like I said, this room here is not the best room for a fight. It's basically just a big square room. There are vents on every corner, so you can't stand in one corner. And the enemies are just going to keep spawning. So the best kind of strategy here, I mean, one is to rotate the camera quite a bit so that you can keep, looking to see where these enemies are coming from. But another one is to just kind of keep moving. So here, here you see the Regenerator is now in the room with me. So the Regenerator, all you want to do with him is freeze him. If you can, shoot him in the legs because then he'll be slower. But just make sure you keep freezing him because you can't kill him, So you need to focus. You need to be able to focus on the other necromorphs. Now, luckily, you'll notice kind of what the game's doing. It's only spawning one necromorph at a time. So that's, that's easy. That's completely manageable. It's just the Regenerator that will kind of overwhelm you. And so that's why you just want to keep freezing him. Just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Here comes another necromorph. kill it as fast as I can. There we go. Kendra got the door open. So I'm going to run through and then get through the elevator door. Now, I do want to note one thing here. Do not stop in that hallway. The enemies can spawn in that hallway while you're trying to get in the elevator. So just, and you'll notice there's a save location there. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about saving. Just get your ass out of that hallway, get into the elevator, and then you'll be 100% safe. Okay? Trust me, I speak from experience. Okay, now here's what I was talking about earlier. Notice how I didn't go to the store, so now I can anticipate the enemy's spawn. So I run in here and watch what I do. I'm ready for this. Transformer, boom, freeze him, turn to the left. Necromorph comes out of the floor, kill him. All the while the Transformer is still frozen, so I can kill him. Bada boom, bada bing, we're done. So I told you earlier, I said when you came in this room, do not go to the store, because while you're in the store, those enemies will spawn, and by the time you get out of the store, they'll have already done too much damage, so it's just not worth it. And so yeah, the best thing to do there is just, like I said, just don't go to the store on your second pass through the room. Wait until that, which is your third pass, and then you can anticipate the enemy spawns, and we're good to go. Okay, now we're good to keep going, and you know, like I said, this is a difficult level, and we are we're not done yet. The most difficult part is still ahead of us, and it's pretty tough. It's, you know, like I said, Chapter 10 is, in my opinion, the hardest level of the game. And this specific fight that we're going towards is probably one of the hardest fights of the game. Again, excuse my coughing. It's so odd. I was sitting in my room for like an hour, and I don't think I coughed once. And then, of course, right when I sit down to start recording, I can't stop. I'll tell you what, guys, I am really looking forward to this weekend. So I don't know if I mentioned this at the start of the video, but I'm recording this on a Friday night, and it's been a long week. You know what? It hasn't even been a long week. It's been a long couple of months. Work, don't get me wrong, work is going very well. I've reached that point where I'm starting to kind of see that I'm actually really good at my job. I don't think you guys even know what I do for a living, but I'm a data analyst, so I do a lot of computer coding. I try to automate processes at work. I try to, you know, generate certain pieces of information from the data that we have. My job is primarily computer coding, and I love it. I really do. It's quite possibly the best job I could have hoped for with a career in physics, or I'm sorry, with an education in physics. But that being said, you know, given that I'm into my job now, and I'm starting to realize that I'm actually pretty good at it, that's great. That's fantastic, and I have a lot of confidence in myself. But at the same time, my bosses are starting to see that, and they're starting to be like, oh, good, you could take on more responsibility. And so right now I'm in charge of 3 separate projects, and I'm basically, like, I'm not exaggerating here, I'm basically doing all of the coding myself. And it's a lot. I'm getting pretty burnt out. I love it. I'm having a lot of fun, but, you know, it's still exhausting. And this week in particular has just been pretty long. So I am looking forward to a nice and relaxing weekend with no coding whatsoever. Alright, so in this room here, you're going to have 3 bloateds. You know, you have a choice here. If you want to, you can kill them. But I'm just going to save the ammo and not kill them. I'm just going to run straight through and that's it. And now, guys, we come to the fight. So this is going to be a fight against the Regenerator, which in this case we actually can kill it. But there are going to be like 8 of the really fast necromorphs that spawn, and you're gonna want to probably kill all of them before you try to kill the necromorph, or before you try to kill the Regenerator. You don't have to. On my easy playthrough, I actually killed the Regenerator first, and then all of the necromorphs just ran away. So if you're trying to save ammo, then sure, maybe you want to try to kill the Regenerator first. It's just, it's hard. It's pretty hard. Especially because, like I said, the necromorphs that spawn, they're not normal ones. They're the fast ones. So it's just tough. Okay? But here we go. So I went into the tram, grabbed the objective. I come into this room here, and now we're going to get ready for the fight. Alright? So pay attention, because this is going to go kind of quickly. But we're going to be going towards the back end of the room. Alright, so here we go. I trigger the panel. The Regenerator is going to drop from the ceiling. I'm going to shoot its legs, freeze it, and then run. Alright? I'm going to hook a right. Or I'm sorry, first I'm going to hook a left, because this one is going to spawn immediately, so you can kill him pretty quickly. So let's go ahead and do that. You might even want to stick around and see if a second one spawns, but what I recommend doing now is running back to this corner over here. You can see there's the second one that I was talking about. So I could have waited for him to spawn. I could have ran back. Doesn't really matter. I was ready for him. And now I'm just going to stand in this corner. And I am going to stand in this corner for as long as I can. Okay? Or at least in this general area. And now what you'll see happening, this is a beautiful thing. They are all going to start spawning out of the same panel. Now, you gotta be careful. I don't know if you saw that, but the Regenerator actually took a swing at me and missed. But the Regenerator is now here. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna freeze him, shoot his legs off, and now I'm just gonna hang around this area, and I'm gonna let all of these guys come out of the vent, and I'm just gonna take them out one by one. Another benefit is because all the enemies are spawning in the same area, I'm able to use my stasis on all of them at once. And now, once I've killed all of the necromorphs, I'm going to come to this end of the room. And now our life is really easy. I'm just going to wait for the Regenerator to make his way over here. I'm going to shoot him right here. Right while he's on this bridge here. Freeze him. And then run back to the control room. Trigger the burners. And there you have it. That's it. That's the fight, guys. So, I know, at least in my opinion, watching that, it probably looked pretty easy. But it's stressful. It's stressful as hell. You know, to get all of those enemies to kind of come out of the same vents, you got to be standing in the right location like I was. And it's hard because even while you're shooting them all, you have to try to keep an eye on the Regenerator. You know, I'll admit I did get a little lucky that he snuck up behind me. I was I knew he would be showing up any second, but like you saw, he was able to take a swing at me, and I only just barely dodged it because I was about to turn around anyway to look for him. So, it's hard. It's still hard. And like I was saying, I was prepared, I had my strategy, I executed the strategy. But it was still stressful, it was still difficult, and sometimes that's just how it goes. So, it's one of the harder fights in the game. And I would say, you know, every time I do one of these walkthroughs, I try to come up with what I call the the hurdle point or something. I've come up with a name for it before and I forget, so that must show how good of a name it was. But essentially, every time I play a game on the hardest difficulty, I always try to pinpoint a level or a section where it's like, okay, if you can get past this section, you're going to be able to do it, you know, because I think a lot of times when people start a playthrough on the hardest difficulty, they're always kind of worried in the back of their mind, like, can I even do this? Is this possible? Do I have the skill? And there are just, you know, there are certain points, and unfortunately in this game it happens later in the game. Like, to give you an example with the Evil Within on Akumu mode, I think, in my opinion, Chapter 6 is that indicator. If you can get past Chapter 6, you're going to be able to beat Akumu. And given that the game is, what, 15 chapters long, you know, Chapter 6, it comes pretty early. So that means if you can get past Chapter 6, you're kind of thinking the rest of the game like, oh, I got this. Whereas with Dead Space, you got to get all the way to Chapter 10 before you can say, okay, I'm going to be able to do this. But yeah, so now we're just making our way back, and what I did there, slightly different. So I still am just going to run through this room, but I did shoot all of the legs off of the enemies because I find that for some reason when you run through this room a second time, you have to wait a little longer for the doors to open because of the loading, and those enemies were always able to catch up to me. Excuse me. So I just decided to shoot him in the legs so that I had a little more time to, you know, allow those doors to open. And yeah, guys, now we're gonna make our way back to the tram. We're gonna move on to Chapter 11. As you come out of this door here, there's gonna be a transformer. That's the one that we just saw on camera killing the crazy guy. Man, I am just starting to die. There's like a fucking bug in my throat or something, and every word is scratching its way out, so trying to get to the end. Alright guys, I hate coughing. Sorry to do that to you, so I'm going to end this video early. Woo! Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.